Good evening. Hi. Welcome to the Attitude Shift. You have parked it. The best place you're going to park anything. You're behind, your feet, your whatever. You're parking yourself right now in the best place you can park on a Wednesday night. Hi, Siobhan. We're in the virtual Corvette, but the virtual Corvette has look at the backdrop. I'm sitting on the car tonight. Look at the back. Look at the backdrop there. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, the show wouldn't be a show. The show couldn't go any further without the woman in red, Siobhan Shaw. Hi, darling. How are you doing this Wednesday night?
I am doing great, and it's actually bright pink because I was in red last week, and that would be totally uncool to be
Am I
in the same
colorblind?
color. So yeah, it's pink, but I probably look about the same color because I've been outside. My eyes are also bloodshot. Yeah, life is good trying to put on a show after being outside all day and working hard. And whew, I don't know how we do it.
I really don't. You know what, Siobhan? I really don't know how we do it. I really don't. I asked myself as I was watching the clock wind down. When I looked up, it was 9 o'clock. I was like, what? And then I start literally throwing kids around the room, like, get out of the way, why are you still up? Get to bed, and it just seemed to creep up on me. I was totally oblivious of the times.
I was just going to say that. So that's something that happens to us a lot, where all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I got to go to this appointment, or oh, I got to get the kids somewhere, or oh, it's time to drink wine. Those kinds of things that are very important that we forget because we've been kind of going along in this sort of fog, and maybe we have our minds on something else and we're oblivious to what's going on around us. We're oblivious to the clock ticking by. We're oblivious to other people in our lives and the issues that they are going through and the feelings that they may have because of something you've said, because you're oblivious.
That's right.
About your motor mouth. And so we really wanted to talk about that because it's something that has come up in both our lives this week, and we actually haven't even talked about it. We just totally were like, that's the topic. Because I said something, I gave you a story where somebody was oblivious to somebody else's feelings, and all of a sudden you go, yes, that's exactly, I know exactly what you're talking about because that's happening in my life. So that's where we're going tonight. Oblivious is an attitude.
It is. You know what? It is an attitude. It truly is, because I believe anything that you do over and over and you're doing it and you're seeing the results of it, and you do it for a reason, I believe that all stems from an attitude. The very person that I was dealing with, family member, won't say the name, family member, you know who you are. When you see this in replay, I'm going to come out and just say, because, I'm not mentioning the name, but because I got to a point where I couldn't go any further to help another person, because I had overstretched my boundaries. I have overstretched myself for the past 3 years, because I'm now missing out on the things that I want to do. And the last straw came when a family member, totally oblivious, said to me, I didn't know you felt that way. I'm sorry. I didn't get the memo. When in fact, there was a memo, a real live memo. And you have had the privilege of seeing that memo.
I know what you're talking about. Yes,
and
there was a memo.
There was a memo. And the memo went out, and still that very person came and wanted to stretch me just a little further and felt that their feelings were hurt because they said they didn't know that I really felt that way, the way that I felt stretched, overused, not able to do some of the things that I want to do, like make a simple email to someone that we would like to reach out to, that I have not been able to push that send button yet. because I'm so overwhelmed by between moving and being stretched by people who are oblivious to seeing that I am, you know, being stretched.
I think that especially women, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, women who are in charge of running their homes, they are stretched. And I think that other people don't see that, you know, maybe they've come home from a long day at work and their feet hurt, and, you know, walking the dog 3 times after dinner is really affecting that person. You know,
Right.
that's kind of it, it's like Oblivious, the attitude is a new movie that we're coming out with. No, Oblivious, the attitude. Oblivious, the attitude is, I think, occurring because they're not living the pain. They're not in your body, and their feet don't hurt. They're only thinking of themselves, and we all do it. I'm not saying that I don't walk around being oblivious to other people's feelings and things going on in their lives.
Right.
Obviously, we all do that, and I think that's a topic that we have to investigate a little bit. Why do we do that, and what can we do to correct that? Because I do think that if we are more aware and more conscious of other people and what's going on in their lives, we actually could be able to help them as well as help ourselves.
That's a good point. Because, and I love how you say we're not, you know, we always say that being aware, that I'm not aware I'm doing it. I believe that a lot of times that people, you know, maybe you don't, but what if, you know, the ones that do, you know, the ones that are very much aware, but they're pushing the envelope. They're pushing the envelope. They're trying to get what they can get, you know, and it goes back to, you know, stretching and pushing the boundaries, you know, from family to friends to even our spouses. When they see us, and I'm saying us and women, because like you, I can't speak for Ivy. I can't speak for him. He handles stress a lot differently than I do. He does. And he has his way of going, and we know, and I'm totally aware of when he's like that. And so I back off. But when I'm like this, and I'm keeping it real, no one seems to really notice. Or they notice, but once again, they're pushing that envelope. They're pushing that envelope. Maybe let me just go ahead and try to ask her anyway. Because, you know, Donna's pretty strong. She can do this, you know?
That's not oblivious. That's just plain mean. It's like a game.
Ooh.
That's
So
not being oblivious. Being oblivious is not knowing what's going on in the other person's world, and not realizing that, you know, way to helping the other person cope and manage stress and manage the household or manage their life or career or whatever it is. What you're talking about is just plain mean. That's mean. That's not oblivious.
Right, but how do you determine that? Because how many times have I heard people say, I didn't know. You know, that's one of the lines we use. We start using that at an early age. We start playing that game at an early age. When our parents say, didn't I tell you to come back at 10? And you go, I wasn't aware of the time. The last time I looked at my clock, it was 8:15. You know, I totally wasn't aware. Back then we called it aware. Now it's totally oblivious.
Well, that's being distracted by fun things in your life. You know, being with your friends and stuff like that. That's being distracted, and that is part of being oblivious. You're so distracted, and that's why drivers can be very oblivious to what's going on around them because they're not aware. And we talked about this in our book, The Journey of the Soul Car. We did a whole lot about awareness, and we actually talked about being in traffic and being aware of what's going on around you, and using the time when you're in the car to practice your awareness, to become more proficient, or just become more aware. pay attention to what's going on around you, and then you'll find that when you're doing that in the driver's seat, you'll transfer it to the driver's seat of your life.
Absolutely. And that's so cool how you put that, because it still goes back to the being aware, knowing what's around you, seeing what's around you. You know, I mean, when we make that excuse, and I do call, you know, sometimes we really don't know. Really, honestly, we don't know. But like you said, when we do know, and we know what we know, and we still push it, we still try to see what we can get out of it, that's just being plain mean. But what do we do to keep from feeling that way is exactly what you said. Just like when you're driving your car in traffic, you have to look around you. You have to see the people for what they really are. Let's just keep it real. You have to see them for what they really are. If they're like this all the time, hell yeah, you're trying to use me. Don't try to act like you don't know that I'm swamped with cheating and whatever else is going on in my lane. But you're steadily crashing in. So we have to learn how to protect ourselves and not put so much on other people saying, almost makes us a part of it too. Culprit's a part of it too, because we're going like, I know I'm stressed out. But okay, since I know that, it's up to me to look at that person and say, you know what, I can't. And I have a feeling I can't, but you're pushing the envelope.
But for me, I think that this goes back to something Byron Katie said to us on a few shows that she was on, and she reiterated this several times, is that when somebody is behaving in a certain way and being oblivious to your needs and desires or wants, then all they're doing is showing you who they are. So we have to step back and say, okay, so they're being oblivious, intentionally oblivious, which is ignorant, or just Donna, your internet is going, or mine is, I don't know which. Donna's internet is going. Donna, you're frozen now. Okay, so where was I at?
Well, your
internet. Yeah, your internet went.
Oh, wow. How crazy is that? Maybe it's like the backdrop, this cosmic crap going on. Almost dropped a word that we would have had bleeped out a minute ago.
I don't know how to bleep. You think I'm a great editor. I have no idea how to bleep. So if you say something, that's it.
Okay. Gotta keep it. Okay.
Okay, just making sure you're not oblivious to that fact.
I know. I almost was. I almost just like, bloop, it just almost came out. But it's so. Do we call people on that? What does that make us? Does that make us a real diehard biatch if we just say, you know what? Look, I can't do it, and I can't do it. Should I be like that? Should I go to this person and go, you got the memo? I know you did. I saw you read it. I know you did. Why would you come at me like that? Does that make me have a bad attitude, or do I just go to the person and just say, no, I can't. My plate is full. Am I supposed to act oblivious to the fact that I know that, they're doing this to me? It's a cycle, Shaman. That's what I mean. It's like a cycle.
Also, if they're oblivious, then you're oblivious to their being oblivious.
Right, exactly.
So on and so
forth. Should I play that role too, or should I just be who I am? I guess there's a fine line, because who am I to say they don't know? Maybe they took the memo a different way. Maybe they read it a different way.
Well, that's the other thing. There's a lack of communication, and so when somebody is distracted or they don't have enough information, they don't have enough knowledge, then they could be oblivious to what's going on around them. Like when I don't get a joke, I'm oblivious to the pop culture that is the history of that joke.
Right.
I don't know what the word is. See, I'm oblivious because I'm tired. And you could be distracted. You could be tired. Like I was exhausted with how I'm doing this show tonight. I don't know, but when something's happening around you and you don't know, you're not well informed, you could unintentionally be oblivious. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Well, you just summed it up when you said, you're exhausted right now. You're tired. And I know you've been doing things like nonstop. We barely bump into each other on Facebook, in the morning. But it is, you have to stop and look at the factors. That exhaustion could be a part, stress could be a part, because when we're stressful, usually our mind is on whatever it is, whether it be family, the bills, whatever has us stressed out, that's what we live. We breathe it, we eat it. And so we're not aware of it. We're not aware. But what about when we do know? How do we stay away? Like if I know I'm distracted, if I know I'm tired, if I know I'm worn out, if I know all of this, why would I put myself, in that position to either have to ask somebody to do something for me that I know is overstretched, you know what I mean? Or even myself. I need to back up before I go to that person to maybe ask for something. And
yeah, I think you're right. You need to back up. You sort of need to get grounded. I was really busy the other day, and I stepped back and I lay back and I closed my eyes and I tried to do some visualization. I actually just try to find a white light in my vision, like how your vision's all speckled sometimes. I just try to focus on a color and see if I can bring that color up, and that actually helps to ground me, and it brings me back into me and the present. And so I'm more mindful of what's going on around me when I come out of that state of meditation. I mean, it's probably a form of meditation. It's just my own way of doing it.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, there's a solution. You took yourself, I love what you did. You took yourself out of the situation, and you found something to focus on, center on, and I love how you described it, because I know exactly what that is. You described it to a T. Those speckles, those distortions, those things that keep you where you can't see clearly. And that's so funny, because that's a real thing. That's real. And you can't see clearly. You don't want to hear another thing. You don't want to do anything else. And I love that. I love that you said you lay back and you focus on something else. And you do something for yourself, Siobhan. That's great. We don't do that. How rare do we pull ourselves out of the situation and go somewhere and count to 10, count to 20, whatever. You know what? We're not programmed to do that. They don't teach us that. I'm sorry, my mom never taught me that.
Well, I think we have to teach the world differently. I think that we have to become more aware ourselves and then pass that on to the next generation, teach them how to be more mindful and present and cognizant of what's going on around them, and then what's going on with other people in their lives. Because I think that if somebody noticed that you were really tired,
right,
they should be there making dinner for you, folding the laundry, making the bed, doing that. It's kind of teamwork, especially in a family. You've all got your sort of roles, and sometimes one team member has to step up and take on extra responsibility for a short period of time. It doesn't mean that, now you have to walk. I'm using walk the dog because I walk the dog a lot. Now you have to walk the dog every time, because I started walking the dog early in the morning because I'm not around later in the morning this past week or so. And so she doesn't get her normal walk with me. So I've switched it. I've taken my responsibility and just shifted it to another time. But it doesn't mean that she's not going to go for a walk at her regular time with somebody else in the family. Does that make sense? Oh, you're frozen again. There she is. The joys of the internet. I wasn't oblivious to the fact that I was watching Oblivion. I don't know if you can see that. It was Oblivion. just before we came up with this topic, I was watching the Tom Cruise movie called Oblivion, and really what it's about is about these characters that are oblivious to the fact that they're clones of astronauts that alien invaders had killed, and they had no idea that they were basically being pawns in the takeover of the Earth, and that they would be killed the moment that they weren't needed again. So that was Oblivion, which is a Tom Cruise movie. It was really interesting to watch as I was getting ready for this show, because what I'd seen and then what we're talking about, it just makes a lot of sense. It's sometime Donna will come back, because she's not going to leave me here being oblivious. But basically, here are these aliens that have come in and invaded Earth, and the people that they've taken over, basically they've taken control of them, have no idea that there's other people alive in their world, that the aliens are pretending to be Earthlings or human beings. And it's really interesting because they just don't have the knowledge. But once they start to get the knowledge, then they see the bigger picture. And I think that that's what we have to do with our lives, is become more aware, get that knowledge, and then we get to see the bigger picture. And so we're not as oblivious as many of us are. And I've lost Donna completely. I wanted to talk to her today about several things, including some of the I'm sorry, we'll just 1 second. I can't do both things at once, so let me see if I can give her a link to get back on the show, because I can't. Doesn't seem to be working for her. What I wanted to talk to her about was attitudes in the news, and one of them is the Ebola scare. And yes, it's very scary, and it's very scary that it's made, it's landed in North America. And I think that we're giving it far too much media attention. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people dying from it in Africa, and we're not giving them as much attention as we are just one person who's contracted it here. And I just think that we're a community of scaredy cats. We're always being scared about something, and I think that the media certainly doesn't help. And it's for ratings, because we all want to watch the drama. We all want to watch the drama. And once Donna is completely gone, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Can't seem to get her back. I'm just typing to her. We don't have we don't have a producer, so that's it. I'm the producer. But I am talking to one of our friends as well here on Facebook. She said, "Be who you are and say what you feel." That's what she's telling Donna, and Donna says she can't get in. For some reason, she cannot get into the show. Okay. Oh, I have another link I can send her, so let's try that. So when Donna was talking about wanting to communicate with these people who are oblivious to her feelings and her needs, Cynthia is saying, just tell them. Just tell them straight out. be who you are and say what you feel. And there she is. Her face has just popped up. Thank you very much for letting me do my monologue.
I know you did well. I can't wait to see it in replay. So I know you did well. The whole time I'm sweating bullets, but I know you did well, so I'm good.
So, I don't even know what I said. I'm just like, it's not like I have a script, ladies and gentlemen. I was just like, off the top of my head. What I actually did, I did talk about was watching Oblivion.
Yes, I got cut off right at that part.
Okay, so I was talking about how the characters in Oblivion, the Tom Cruise character and his sidekick, were oblivious to the fact that they were actually clones in this alien takeover. Right. And it was because they didn't have the knowledge. They had no knowledge. And once they started to gain the knowledge and become well informed on this matter, that the aliens were actually pretending that they were human beings and that they had a colony in Titan and that Earth was, you know, completely a write-off, and so they were taking all the water and they were going to leave the Earth devastated and barren. Once they started to figure that out, well, then it hit the fan.
Then it was a shift. The shift hit the fan. But, you know, it's exactly what you said. Once you have the information, what do you do with it? Again, did you get the memo? You know, again, do you see that this person looks tired? Do you see that this person, you know, whatever the circumstance may be, it's just like you said, if you do the research, sometimes we don't like to step outside of our comfort zone and maybe even say, you know, you don't look too hot today. You know, I was going to ask you maybe if you would do this for me, but, you know, is something wrong? You don't look your normal self. I mean, we don't do that, you know, because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. We're afraid, you know, someone's going to say, well, what do you mean I don't look right? What do you mean? You know?
Yeah, but if you're real friends, you'll say that to each other.
Absolutely.
You know, there was one time that several times on the show where before like the show,
today
you know,
I look extremely off key.
And I'll tell you that, and vice versa. You know?
I've been moving and doing a bunch of stuff, but like I told you, you know, A, the show goes on. B, you know what? I know that I probably could do a little bit more. I probably should have put some, you know, lip stuff on and all that kind of stuff. But I'm aware of what I look like. I'm not sick. I'm not, you know, anything. I'm a little tired. But the importance of what we're talking about tonight, you know, I use myself as a prop. Because simply put, I am aware of, you know, what I normally look like on the show. But because of my circumstances and moving and boxes all around everywhere, I really didn't take a lot of time to do extra stuff. So those of you that are looking, I am aware of what I look like tonight.
You look beautiful, so be quiet about that. Yeah. So being oblivious is not being stupid.
No, no way.
There's no correlation. There's no correlation there, because I think the most intelligent people can also be oblivious. They can be unaware. And so it has nothing to do with your intelligence. No. It has everything to do with your attitude about others. And I think that you get yourself wrapped up into yourself.
Absolutely.
And you can't untie that knot that you've created, because it's really all about you when you do that. And so then you become oblivious to what's going on in other people's lives, because you can't feel their pain, like I said earlier in the show. Right. You know, there's no way that John could feel how sore my feet are.
Right. No
way. He just can't, unless he stood in my shoes. Exactly. He wouldn't know what pain I have. And same for me. I wouldn't know, you know, when he says his back hurts, I don't know. Because I don't feel that. So I have to be cognizant of his feelings, that Absolutely. He truly has these feelings. And then I have to set things in motion that help him and help us communicate better and help us live better. And maybe I have to step up and do some heavy lifting until his back feels better, until he comes and says,
Right.
I can do that. I can lift that. I can take that load off of you now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you need people to do, is to be more aware.
That's it. And it's such a simple solution. Almost everything we talk about, we shift about, most of it boils down to exactly what you just said: being aware, looking. Sometimes you can't, like you said, I can't wear your shoes. We don't have a world like that we just get to switch and feel what other people feel. But we do have hearts. We do have minds. And like you said, if we just take the time and just ask, sometimes ask, or take the to put ourselves in that person's shoes. If we see them working all these hours, and we're like, well, she might be tired, so don't ask. It's a
That's right.
two-way street.
So one of the things I was yattering on about when when you were oblivious to what was going on in the show was the attitudes in the news I've seen surrounding the Ebola scare here in the United States and Canada. I can't believe that Anderson Cooper is in Dallas, Texas at the hospital. Where one person, but he's not over in Africa, where
Right.
thousands and thousands of people are dying, but he's in Dallas, standing outside the hospital, talking to the friends of a nurse. And I feel, I feel for her. Obviously, it's sad that she and I think one of her coworkers have contracted the disease. And it is a scary disease, but do we need CNN there? Scary
I
the rest
thought about
of
that.
us?
I thought about that, and once again, it's just like you said. That's why we call this segment "Attitudes in the News," because it is. It's like a mixed thing that you're seeing. Because we talked about that, you and I, several times, about how the media put spins on things, they hype things, so having him there, I think that that's going to fuel the fire. But I also see that it's newsworthy. But I also think that you're going to have to figure out how to stay out of harm's way. These nurses were doing a job, and they got infected. Anderson Cooper is not there treating a patient. He's not there being a doctor. He's there reporting the news that they're going to put a spin on it no matter what. It's going to dominate the news, and people are going to start doing exactly what you said. They're going to start getting nervous. You can see this thing, it's trending. It's all over Facebook. It's all over social media. It's it's hot right now, and I just think that what we should do as a whole is to protect ourselves first before we go out. And for me, this is crazy because me, I'm ready to go out and get the story. I am, but I think that there's some point you have to realize the seriousness of these things, and you've got to make a smart stand versus the popular stand.
Ooh, like that. And so
I really feel that way.
Be smart about your oblivious attitude. Being oblivious is an attitude, and just be much more aware, be more grounded, more with it, however you want to put it. Practice being aware, get in the car, try to remember how many people are standing at the street corner, at the intersection you came to. Try to remember the color of the car in front of you, or the license plate. I'll actually read the license plate to bring myself back into awareness, because in the car is where we often daydream, right? So we lose that consciousness. It's not as in we're unconscious. And there she is. The internet's gone.
Right. You give me a stretch of highway and some good music, I'm gone. I'm not thinking about a care in the world, So yeah, in a way, that's being oblivious to everything. It is, and I like how you say that. I to us. You know what? And the thing is what makes it so cool with what we do is you have your own lane. And as long as you're in your lane, controlling your lane, headed to your destination on your journey of life, you know, you can stay out of trouble. You know, unless someone comes crashing over, you know, there's those unforeseeable, just to make it so flipping hard.
Donna, we're losing you. It is time to put the virtual red Corvette in park, and hopefully you can say goodnight.
We do. And I'm guilty of that too.
Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you. I see you. I see you.
Oh, okay, because you're going in and out. So it's time to put the virtual red Corvette in park before we lose you.
Yeah. I'm going to put it in park. Next week it'll be better because I have the Wi-Fi hooked up in the garage better. So until we meet again, keep shifting, stay in your own lane, and be kind to others on the road. Mwah. Peace out.